am N Surkund. You already know me. I am the author of a book called Adventures of a PR Man, and also the second sequel known as More Adventures of a PR Man, which came after about 5 years. Now today I am going to narrate to a real life story without any seasoning, the way it had happened sometime in the late 40s when I was about 12 years old. I was a student then in the board high school Udupi. You know, Udupi is quite famous for your idli, dosa, vada, etc. They say even you go to the moon, you will find a Udupi restaurant there. One day on a Saturday, I was sitting in my house doing my homework. It was around 11:30. Suddenly our dog Moti started barking and I could hear the sound. Through the window I saw at the gate and I saw our postman Purushottam Nayak entering the house. Was carrying a very bulky bag, looking very tired, lot of perspiration on his forehead. He entered our house, came and sat on the bench. After seeing him so tired, I felt I should give him at least some water. So I went inside and told my aunt to give him some water and also some jaggery. This is a common system in Udupi, maybe in other places also. When he came out, Purushottam Nayak told, there is a letter for us, and he wanted it to hand it over to my father. Then I shouted for my father, who was sitting inside doing the puja. So he came, and Purushottam Nayak, after drinking the water with the jaggery, gave the letter to my father. Father sat next to him in a chair, opened the letter and went on reading. Now, we were all anxious to know what are the contents, including my aunt, who was by then had come from the kitchen and standing by his side. After reading, he said, there is a marriage in Kundapur in the month of May. Our Bijur Nanmam's daughter is getting married and we are all invited for the marriage. The very sound of marriage in Kundapur, when I heard, I was so thrilled because May is my holidays. And I will be very happy to attend the marriage because of so many factors. One thing is plenty to eat. The second thing is you will have an occasion to travel by bus. That also, crossing 3 rivers in a small boat. And while going, you play in the water. You know, this is something experience we rarely have during our school days. All homework forgotten, now only concentrating on that. Next day when I went to the school, I told my friends, I am going for a marriage in Kundapur in the month of May. Well, my friends in the school started making their demands. Don't forget to bring the sweets. Our share is already there. Remember, do not forget. One suggested, since you are in Kundapur for nearly 1 week, why don't you visit Kollu? There is a beautiful Mukambika temple. Like that, so many suggestions came. Ultimately, my exam was over. The holidays came and the day to visit Kundapur also came along with my elder brother Anand and my father Narayan. Boarded the bus. As I told you earlier, we had to cross 3 rivers, Kalyanpur, Brahmawar and Mabukad, and everywhere we had to change the bus. It was a nice journey for about 2.5 hours, and we reached Kundapur, and Sri Bijur Narayan Rao was very eagerly waiting for us because we had written him a letter. Was so happy to see us, and his wife Duggamakka gave us a very nice welcome with some snacks and some limbu sharbat because it was very hot in the afternoon. Then he said, I am very happy that you brought your two sons. I am sure they will be of great help to us. And he narrated that I will take care of the party, marriage party for coming from Bangalore, and my brother Anant will sort of supervise the kitchen part to assist the cooks on their basic requirements. So it was the next day we had the main function of having Devanne. Devanne is, remembering the God before doing any auspicious work. Then the priest came in the morning, early morning with this chela. He was about to start his work. Then I told him, see, any transport, you need a petrol. How can you go without petrol? So why don't you have something to eat before you start your work? Then he asks, what is there to eat for breakfast? I told him, we have got excellent hot biscuit ambade, we have got povarulam, and also along with that shave plus nalla suda coffee. I was very happy. I could see his mouth watering. So we agreed to have, and they were all instantly served, and both the priest and his chela had stomach full because the formalities would take at least 2 to 2.5 hours. So the formalities were completed, then there was a lunch, and the priest returned back telling that he will now come again for the main function day of the marriage. The next day, the entire party of the bridegroom from Bangalore arrived by bus from Harihar. Up to Harihar they had come by train. In those days there were no luxury buses like today, and Mr. Narayan Rao Bijur had acquired on rent a house nearby where they could be accommodated, because the party consisting of about 12 people. There were gents, the ladies, a couple of children, everybody were there. And the biggest handicap we are facing was they did not know Konkani. They were all speaking Kannada. Anyway, we went to the bus stand, received them, brought them, put them in that house which was specially taken for them. It was already furnished properly, beds were put. Whatever the needs were kept ready for them, including a cupboard where they could put their clothes. Then also, specially for the ladies, a small box with a mirror, and inside that Afghan snow, kutikara powder, couple of combs of different size were also put in them, and some coconut oil in a bottle as a hair oil. In those days, the coconut was for doing a multiple purpose, for cooking as well as for hair oil. Narayan Rao told me privately, look, you should take every care while attending to these people, because they are always will try to find fault. In those days, marriage was a 7 days affair. In spite of the best efforts put by me to please the party, in 2 3 days I realized it was very difficult, very difficult to satisfy their demands. For example, they will say the chaklis served were not round, they were broken. The laddus given did not have the dry grapes inside. The payasam which was served, there were hardly any pieces of cashew nuts. The coffee served was so black, wonder there was milk put in that. There was no sufficient hot water to take bath. So like this, there were 100 complaints. Even the smallest, like the plantain leaf given was a little broken. Now it was very difficult for me to satisfy their all needs, but I had to be a patient of patience. So the next day was the day when you remember the God and have a puja to commence the marriage celebrations. The priest came along with his chela in the morning. Before starting the puja, I asked the priest, what about some petrol for your engine? Because you have to minimum for 3 hours cannot take anything. His question was, what is there today for breakfast? I said, look, you have got excellent hot biscuit ambada, you have got poha and upma mix, and you have also save if you want or any other khara item with coffee. The items really tempted him, and both the priest and his chela had plenty. Then the usual puja started. The bridegroom was made to sit. Aartis were made. There were at least about 15-20 people from both sides sitting and watching. And the items of different nature, which are customs for years, were all performed, and finally the lunch was served around 2 o'clock. So after the lunch, naturally everybody wants to have a nice snack. So that day the program was over. Then finally the D-Day came. For the main function of the marriage, the nice, attractive, colorful pandal was erected outside the temple, and inside there was a small portion fully decorated with flowers was specially erected where the main function would take place. Right from 8 o'clock in the morning, everybody is so busy, nobody had time. It went on till about 12:30, and as usual, after the main function was over, everybody was distributed with a banana, a small packet in which some little sugar and also some dry fruits. This was a system in those days. Nowadays all these things are not heard of. Then began the main item, the lunch. There were almost about 200 people were there. From all nearby villages like Hemmadi, Amladi, Brahmavar, some from Udupi had come for the marriage, specially because both sides had their own relatives. Then of course the neighbors and also some very close friends had come. Now the plantain leaves were properly lined up the people started taking their seats, and a team of volunteers from Kundapur itself specially came to ensure that the food is served properly. Now myself and Anand, we too were along with the volunteers tried to help in the serving the food. Now I had to be very careful because I cannot lift heavy items. You know, big vessels with lot of heavy things I cannot carry. I was hardly about 12 years old. Then I thought of a very good idea. I tried to control myself or restrict myself only with salt or pickles or chutney or gujju, or at the most to impress a full basket of fried papads. Though they look quite big, they are not heavy. So I could go and serve them. The another item I preferred was, which everybody wants, is water. Similarly, when the serving is almost complete, when the second round starts, another item which I preferred was the diluted buttermilk. In a small jug I would carry and give it to everybody. So when I was carrying that big basket full of papads, I heard somebody commenting, see, that basket is bigger than the person who is serving them. Then, well, I had to do my job. Ultimately, somehow the entire serving of the food was over by around 3 o'clock. Everything went on very well. The bride's father, Narayan Rao, was very happy that when people came and told him, the whole thing went on very nicely. Again, the next day there were other items to be performed. As I told you before, it was a 7 days affair. There would be different things will be done. It may be for 1 hour or maybe for 2 hours. But the whole idea was the new bride and the bridegroom should come together, sit together and see they get themselves accustomed. Therefore, the whole thing went on for about a week. All gathered were very happy, and finally the day to depart by the party to Bangalore. Now they had again to board a bus from Kundapur up to Harihar, then take a train to Bangalore. Now they were about to leave for the bus station. The bride's father, Narayan Rao, introduced me and my brother Surkund, Anand, to the bridegroom and told him, look, these 2 young boys have specially come from Udupi for the marriage, and the amount of help they have given, I am not able to thank them in any way. So I thought I should also tell you. The bridegroom shook hands with us and said, I am very happy you have done a good job. We are all very satisfied, and the last but the great surprise, he gave to me and to my brother a small gift in the form of a shirt piece. And the party finally left for the bus stand to board the bus. So the 7-day affair almost came to an end with a very happy note. Now I am asking you, how many of you have time today to attend a marriage for 7 days? Forget you, even the bride and the bridegroom has not even 7 hours. The reception itself is over in 2 hours or 3 hours because the hall is to be vacated before a specific time.